All right, if you can hear me okay, just let me know in the chat. I want to make sure. Yeah. Okay, perfect. All right, so we're going to rock and roll here. And this is going to be exciting. I've been looking forward to this all day. If you haven't heard about me, I love doctors and I love business, and I'm troubled by the state of things in in the medical space. But I think that we can work our way out of it. Okay, we don't have to be subject to it and all of that stuff. So we're going to be talking about the EntreMD Business School today. I am a firm believer that every doctor deserves a business education. We didn't get one in medical school, but we can still get one. Okay, all right. So how do you know you're in the right place? Because you may be in the wrong place, but I think you guys are in the right place. You're a doctor, and no matter what anybody says, you know there has to be more. You don't know what it is. You don't even know what business you want to do. You're not even sure if you want to do a business. You love your clinical job. You like, but there's more. This can't be all. I didn't give up a decade of my life. I didn't go into multiple six-figure debt for just this, right? And you're not sure what it is, but you know there's more. Or you're ready to launch a business. You've had this business idea, you've carried it around for a few years. You're like, man, I just want to get this off the ground. But you've been told you're a medical person, you're a doctor, you're not an MBA. Like, leave that to the MBAs. And nothing could be further than from the truth. But if you think that, then you're in the right place. Okay. Or you're here and you're ready to grow your business. So maybe you started that business, you got to the point where you were breaking even, you got to the point where you have six figures, multiple six figures coming in, and you're like, I just want to take this to the next step, right? But you don't have the how to, right? You don't have the roadmap. You don't have the motivation even. Like, you know what you should do, but you just can't bring yourself to do it. Or you don't have the accountability, right? You knew if you were in the right circles, then you just do what you need to do, right? So if any of this describes you at all, then you're in the right place, okay? All right. Now, I want to introduce myself. Some of you we've met, you listen to the EntreMD podcast, or you're in the EntreMD Facebook group, or you've heard me speak at an event, or you know me from wherever. And I want to say I'm happy I know you, okay? But I'm Dr. Una, and I'm going to tell you a little bit of my story because I need you to know that I get it, okay? Now, I have two parts to my story. The first part is, as a bright-eyed, freshly minted pediatrician in 2008, and I worked my first job. I did it for about 15 months. And somewhere 9 months into it, because I had a 1-year contract, my boss was like, okay, here's your new contract. And it was for 5 years. And when I put it in perspective, I had been married for 3 years, which seemed like a long time. And I had been a resident for 3 years, which seemed like a long time. So I was like, I am not signing a 5-year contract of anything. Like, I have no perspective of how long 5 years is. But anyway, I was moving, so I wasn't going to be able to stay regardless. I'm like, look, I can't, I'm moving. I was in one part of Georgia, Stockbridge. And then I was moving to Norcross. I was like, I can't pull this off. And when he found I wasn't going to renew my contract, he's like, you should start your own practice. I'm like, okay, there are a few things wrong with this. Okay. First, nobody starts a practice 15 months out of residency. That's not the way this works. Number two, in case you failed to notice, I'm pregnant. Okay. I can't do this. And he's like, no, like, you're doing everything you'll need to do in a private practice here. Just go start. And a series of things happened, and I ended up starting my practice, right? I had no clue, right? I was doing all the clinical things that I needed to do, but I didn't realize there was a whole business thing behind it. And I, like the video we looked at earlier, I was a socially awkward, introverted introvert, like wouldn't even look people in the eye. And I was like, I'm not marketing. I'm not putting myself out there. I'm not talking to OBGYN saying, send me your babies. Like, I'm not doing any of that. So I hung the shingle, right? The proverbial shingle. And the people did not come. They did not come. And then I had to put my head down and go like, okay, you're here. You came here ignorantly, but you're here. And I stumbled and stumbled and stumbled and stumbled upon the fact that business skills are learnable, right? Because I thought the people who had bigger practices than me, they were doing better than me, like they were just better than me. But no, they had business skills I didn't have. So then I go on this quest to acquire all this knowledge and practice and all of that. And then I get to the point where the practice is working and it's buying my financial freedom, which is what we want as entrepreneurs, which is what we want as doctors, right? And it was great. And then we get to 2016, and I still remember where I was. And I had this aha moment. And the aha moment was medicine as we know it is gone. This was 2016. This is 4 years ago, almost 5 years ago. Medicine as we know it is gone, 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 and it's never coming back. And if your only skill is doctoring, you're going to be out of luck. He's like, it's like, there's going to be a lot of mid-level encroachment. There's going to be a lot of competitors in the pie, right? Because I don't know about you, but when I graduated from residency, CVS was not going to be my competition. The option of that happening did not exist, right? Telemedicine, being such a, telemedicine companies being such a big contender and getting in the way of private practices and all that, that wasn't a thing. Amazon wasn't in healthcare. You know what I mean? Like all these things didn't exist. We almost had a monopoly, if you will. And it's like, even at your practice, you need to go from lead pediatrician to CEO, which is different. You need to build a business. And at the same time, I realized that it's not just me, it's a lot of other doctors. And that's how EntreMD was born. Because I was like, this is going to get ugly and we need to get out of this. We need to get in front of this. Okay. Only to watch this unfold and unfold and unfold till we hit last year with the pandemic. Who would have thought that in the middle of a pandemic, doctors won't find jobs? Who would have thought that in the middle of a pandemic, like this is a health crisis, physicians will have to shut down their practices? Who would have thought that in the middle of a pandemic that doctors will be furloughed? Okay. Who would have thought we would come to a place where we have no seat at the table? None. Right. And yes, we're in a very competitive space, but we weren't taught to compete. We're not entrepreneurs. And they tell us you're a doctor, not an entrepreneur. I say you can be a doctor and an entrepreneur. And that's what EntreMD is all about. Okay. So long story, but I wanted to set the stage. All right. All right. So this is my firm belief. Okay. Yes, you spent a decade training. Yes, you spent all this time doing what you do. But everything you've achieved up till now is just a stepping stone for what comes next. There's so much more in you. There's so much more in us. There's so much more that we can do. And we got this. Okay. So that's just my firm belief. And I've alluded to this earlier, but the truth of the matter is being an entrepreneur for physicians is no longer this optional cool thing. It is the thing, right? And if you're here and you work a job, when I talk about entrepreneurship, it's for everybody. Because even if you don't have a business like a private practice or you're a coach or you have a product or any of those things, the truth of the matter is you have your physician brand, and that is your business. Okay, that's what gives you the leverage to negotiate. That's what gives you the leverage that when others are being laid off, you're not. That's what gives you the leverage to set up a work system the way it works for you. Okay, so we have loss of autonomy. Burnout is an all-time high. Our jobs are being replaced. I actually heard a program director for an emergency medicine residency go like, things have changed and my program is a very competitive program, but I can't get jobs for my residents. I mean, like, how does that make sense, right? The devaluation, right? The public mistrust. Like, look at all the education we have to do just to get people to get vaccines. And it's tiring and exhausting and demoralizing, right? And then private practices going out of business by the hundreds, being bought up by hospitals, the whole 9 yards. We cannot invest a decade and then invest all this money and leave the outcome of our careers to chance. It's time for us to get back in the driver's seat. It's time for us to get back in control. Okay? All right. So these are a few people. Michelle will recognize them because they are all in the business school. And I just wanted to show you the variety of people and the variety of things they do, just so you get a feel. This is for all doctors, okay? So Dr. Stephanie here, if you go to our YouTube channel, you see actually they all have their video testimonials of their experience in the business school and all of that. And Dr. Stephanie, she's a coach and a physician life coach, and she's had tremendous results since she joined the business school. And you see me going like, I don't have words. I love my people. Okay, Dr. Chanel Wilson. She's in Atlanta, so we have more Atlantas in the house, and she is a urologist, and her business is a nonprofit. Okay, and her story is pretty fascinating because she's a urologist, and there's a very small percentage of urologists that are minorities. And her not for profit is to bring about diversity in urology. She set up her first cohort. She had 39 people go through the match in urology, and 31 of them matched. 31. It was so wild. And she's in private practice, but the American Academy of Urology, they reached out to her to come, talk, to do a presentation on her nonprofit and all. It's crazy. Okay. Dr. Karen started, she was on a call just like this, and she wanted to start a private practice, and she launched her private practice last month. She launched with a panel of 350 patients waiting for her to say, we're now open to take you, right? And when she was on the VIP Q&A, she's like, well, I'm going to start later and all that stuff. I was like, yeah, but you start marketing now. Like, we work the VIP list, it's just wild. Okay, so she's private practice. And Dr. Dada, she was on the podcast recently. You can go check out her episode. Now, there are only 3 episodes of the EntreMD podcast that have been up to an hour, and it's Chip Hart and her. And it was a very fantastic story. And she had been in the business school for 6 months at the time of this recording. And she had her overhead for her second business drop by 70%. She had her revenue go up by 40, charting time down by 70. She's working less days. I mean, like, it's just wild. But they're all different kinds of doctors, different kinds of experiences, but they're all taking control. So super cool to see. All right. And you can be next. And if you listen to the podcast or you see anything I post, you will know that I believe that you can be next, right? And I love to help. So you might go like, okay, but why the EntreMD Business School? Why not something else? Okay. The EntreMD Business School has one agenda, and that agenda is to get you results. Okay. My goal for 2021 is to help the doctors in the business school win. That's my goal. that's my sole goal, right? My win is their win. That's just the way it is. So the primary goal is results. The primary goal is not for you to have lots of shiny objects and for you to have, lots of colorful branding, and like those can be a means to an end, but we want you to get to the end. We want you to get to the end. There's minimal curriculum. So I don't know about you guys, but I don't know that I want to do 200 videos and 500 workbooks and all of those things, right? I want to learn enough to take action to get results. That's my approach, and that's the approach in the business school. So it's not curriculum heavy. It really isn't. Now, it is action heavy. Because we would do challenges, we'll do all these kind of things. Why? The idea is to keep you taking action and keep you in momentum. We're physicians. Learning is not our problem. But sometimes when it comes to business, that is our problem because we've been told you're not business people. You're not good at speaking. It's unprofessional to put yourself out there. How can you earn multiple 6 figures and still want to make more money? It makes you greedy. Like, we have all that kind of stuff, right? So the main job, my job, is to put you in momentum, pushing your business forward, putting yourself out there. Why? That's where all the magic happens. Okay? Why else? An inspiring and supportive community. Okay? We celebrate wins. We call ourselves out. We collaborate like crazy. And you get to learn one lesson, and you get to watch multiple people act it out. It is beautiful because you can go like, oh, I like that version, so I think I'm going to do that version. It's so good. And Michelle is here, so she can attest to that. But it's a very supportive community. When we first launched the business school, this was the most common objection. I think I need one-to-one coaching. And I'm like, people, you don't know the power of a group. Like, just come on, okay? Now, if you watch every video where a doctor is talking about their experience in the business school, you listen to any podcast episode where they're talking about it, you will hear these two things. Dr. Una is amazing. The group is amazing. We're all amazing. Everybody talked about the group. Everybody. Why? It's one of the most powerful parts of the business school. Okay? Now you have a private Facebook group with unparalleled support. So you're supposed to go speak and you're like, oh my gosh, I'm losing it. You have 25 comments in like 3 minutes. Like, you got this. You were born for this. Everything you've done up till now prepared you for this. Like it's really good to see. And people would come up with their challenges. People come up with their wins. People come up with things that they were held accountable for that they, carried out. It's beautiful. It's a beautiful Facebook group. And exceptional guests. Okay. I wouldn't even tell you about I'll tell you about who we had last night. Last night we had Tony Beige, and she's a Harvard trained MBA. She's a business girl, and she had worked corporate for about 20 years, built her own business, doing multiple six figures, working 2 hours a week. And she came to talk to us about productivity secrets. Like, who wouldn't want to be there for that, right? It was so good. It was so good that in the middle of it, people were private messaging me like, oh God, Dr. Una, thank you for bringing her. Like, it was really good. And, in a few, we have Becky coming in, and I saw her do a presentation in a mastermind, and she was talking about 5 ways to build a team with little or no money down. And guess what? Every entrepreneur needs a team. And guess what? No entrepreneur has the budget for a team. Not no entrepreneur, but you know what I mean. I was like, what? I'm PMing her. I'm like, can you come to my business school and come do this talk? She's like, I have a workshop. It's $497. I was like, okay, we're going to work it out. And we worked it out, and she's coming. And I had another person I reached out to, and she's amazing. Like, confession, I don't like complicated things. Like, I don't. Sometimes I'm like, you're a doctor. You learned the Krebs cycle. How do you not like complicated? I don't like complicated things. And I heard her years ago do a presentation on how to create the simple formula to create online courses. And I know a number of the people in the business school, they want to do that. I don't think they even know this. I don't think the people in the business school know that. I haven't told them. And we worked it out. And so she's coming in 2 months. And she's going to come, like, simple framework. Like, you've wanted to do this online course. Stop talking about it. Get it done. Let's go market it. It's going to be amazing. She's just going to come do a workshop. So it's not exceptional guests like people who are all the way out there, but it's the people who have the strategies, the framework, the simple way to do the things that we need to do. They're phenomenal. Okay. So we have exceptional guests. So the framework is this, right? And again, I like simple things. So I spent years tinkering at this. Like, what is the simple formula that we can follow that will create 6-figure businesses, multiple 6-figure businesses, 7-figure businesses? What is that framework? Okay. And this is what it is. 1, you have to find your profitable business idea. And every physician has a profitable business idea. If you were in the EntreMD Facebook group, you'll see that I did a training on there, like how to build a 6-figure business out of a $30 product. And, I just said, hey, what are your hobbies? What are your skills? Let's pick one of them and let's make a business out of it, because we have them. We're walking around with them. we have these businesses, right? The second thing is to master your message, because if you're going to go out there and you're going to get your ideal people to say yes, you need to be able to talk to them. You need to know their pain points. You need to know what problems they have, what solutions you offer them. You need to be crystal clear, because if you talk to everybody, nobody listens. If you talk to your people, they listen, and then everybody else listens too. Okay? And then we talked about platforms, because one of the things, one of the biggest problems that businesses will have is obscurity. Nobody knows you're there. Nobody knows. So how do you break that? Is by building a platform. And we work that, whether that's your email list or that's videos that you're doing or Facebook Lives or a podcast. And you don't have to own any of these things. We show you how to collaborate to dominate them anyway, right? And then we work on your revenue streams. Like you see, I was talking about someone who's coming in to teach on online courses for the people in there that want to do that, right? And that's a system that's a revenue stream that could be built. It could be your private practice, whichever, okay? And then create systems. Because for me, like many of you guys, I'm not willing to build a business that will cost me my family. I'm not willing to build a business that will cost me the things that are important to me. I want to be able to help people. I want to be able to serve. I want to be able to do all that, but I want to do it in a way that I have freedom, right? To do the things that are important to me. So whether that's building a team, like the guest I told you about, how to build that, whether it's automations, all of that. So you end up doing more, accomplishing more by doing less. And that's the goal. Okay. All right. So the structure, um, again, simple. So they're weekly live calls, except live sessions. And sometimes if they're 5 weeks and, I may do a spring break, but we'll see. But they're weekly live sessions, and the live sessions will vary. Some of them would be laser coaching. Some of them will be when the guests come on. Some of them would be mindset tune-ups, right? Because we have all this mind drama things that are going on. And some of them would be actual like strategy. This is how you get this done, right? We have monthly challenges. And the reason for that is because when we do that as a group, we make so much progress, right? And it's a challenge that will cause you to be out there. We've even done one that was a podcast challenge. You had to get on 5 podcasts. And we've had the transformation challenge. We started the year with it, where we're like 28 days, commit to do these 3 things. And it's so amazing. People are sending me emails like, this is what happened when I did the transformation challenge. One of the doctors even tripled her profits. I mean, like from one challenge. So we do that. Why? The goal is action, momentum. So you can get results, action, momentum. And then we have the private Facebook group. So you can always post whatever you want to post there and stuff like that. And people can reach out and help. And it's not just about me. Again, it's the group. Okay. This is a group of physicians who have all said yes to their dreams. And we have specialty sessions. We've had one private practice mastermind where we got all the people in private practice together and we kind of talked about things that are completely specific to private practice. We've also had specialty projects where we would have, like when we did the EntreMD Business School Expo, just created an event, made the students the speakers, and I'm like, let's go do it. And I mean, the change that happened from that was just, it was too good, too good. We have EntreMD Business School masterminds, which are smaller groups, 4 to 7 doctors. And, we review where we've been, we celebrate wins, we bring up challenges, and that's great. So we have those as well. Okay, so that's kind of the structure. Now, this is perfect for you. If you're like, I know there's more, I want to start a business, I want to grow a business, I'm willing to do the hard work. I take responsibility for my results. I take responsibility for it. I'm going to do what it takes to win. Okay. I'm going to collaborate. I'm going to do uncomfortable things. I'm going to be uncomfortable, but I'm going to keep saying yes. Okay. Now, and even if you're not completely sure, right? You're not confident in this, but you're like, I'm not fully confident, but I'm going to give it my best shot. This is perfect for you. If you are a whiner, complainer, blamer, you don't want to be here because, and I don't think there's anybody on here that's that, but if you're like, is their fault, is their fault, nobody's talking to me, nobody's helping me and all that kind of stuff, when all the help is there and you can just take it, then this may not be the place for you. Okay, may not be the place for you. But if you're like, I'm willing to do what it takes. I don't know what it is. I'm sure it will terrify me, but I'm willing to do it. If I need help, I'll ask for it. I'm gonna get what I need. You will eat this up. This is built for you. Okay. Now, so you have two options. And option number one could be, hey, this was interesting, and good to know, good news, right? Or option number two is like, let's do it, right? Let's do it. What I don't want you to happen to you, because this has been a theme over the last 6 months for me, where somebody will walk up to me and they're like, we talked about this. We talked about this 4 months ago, and I'm in the same spot. We talked about this 1 year ago, and I'm in the same spot. I don't want you to say that. I want you to make progress. I want you to move forward. I want you to dare your fears. I want you to embrace something that's new. We live in a new normal, right? As doctors, this is different, and we have to do different stuff, okay? I can guarantee that on my part, I will do what it takes to help you succeed, right? All I'm looking for is a group of doctors who are like, I know I can do this. Yes, right? So those are your two options. So make the decision. Now you might be going, I'm not sure. What if I try it and it doesn't work? Or "Oh, I don't know if I have the time." The truth is that you do not have the time, right? Because this is not getting better. If you look at the trend over the last 5 years, this is not getting better. This is heading in the completely wrong direction. All right. This is one of the most valuable things that I learned from a coach that I worked with. Make the decision. Then make the decision right. Like say yes and figure it out later, right? I have another mentor who says it that way. Say yes, figure it out later. Are you going to come speak here? Yes. Then figure it out later, right? You have nothing to lose and everything to gain. Okay? Nothing to lose, everything to gain. So EntreMD.com/business. Okay? EntreMD/business. And I want you to check it out. Now, there, I'll give you a few of the stories. And if you go to the YouTube channel, you see all of these videos. I'm not making these things up. Dr. Carolyn Morris was the one who said she joined the business school the same time. It's probably the same day she started her private practice, but same month for sure. And first things first, she's like, oh, I'm now covering my overhead. Oh, I'm now making a profit. Oh, I'm getting patients come from social media. Oh, she launched a podcast. And these are all things that have happened since September. So we're talking less than 5 months ago, right? And that could be you. That could be you. I have Dr. Rosemary Thomas, and she's like, oh my goodness, my revenue went up by 40%, right? And she's like, oh my gosh. And she's revamping her practice. She's a pediatrician in Trinidad, and she's revamping everything. And it's just pretty to see. Yesterday, from one of the accountability groups that happened, she's finished her ebook, which is going to be ready to launch. And it's just fantastic to see. We have doctors who started off and they're maybe a little uncomfortable, asking for, charging what they're supposed to charge. And we had a doc who almost 10x'd her prices, which was close to what she should be charging. And the people didn't even blink. And these are things that maybe they wouldn't have done any other way. And I could give you story after story after story after story. Make the decision. Make the decision right. Okay? All right. Now, before we go into the questions, I'm going to answer some of the most common ones that I get. Okay? First one, how long will I be in the school? Because if you go to EntreMD Business School, EntreMD.com/business, you will see that your tuition is monthly. Okay? Now, the recommendation is that you plan to be in there for a year. And I know many people are going to be there much longer than a year, but the plan is a year. Why? You have to give yourself time to grow. Okay? If you had somebody, your internal medicine doc, and you were working with someone with their blood pressure and they wanted 2 visits, you'll tell them this is not how that works, right? If you're a weight loss doc on here and someone's like, I only want to work with you for 2 weeks, you say, this is not how that works. Okay, so you need time. Recommendation is a year. Time commitment, as you see, there's the weekly sessions. I try to hold it at an hour. If we go over, it's usually an hour 15. All right. And if you give yourself, especially if you're working and you give yourself 2 to 3 hours a week for implementation, then you should be golden. And if you're here and you're a full-time entrepreneur, then you just, you do the needful. All right. Is there any one-on-one coaching? There is not one-on-one coaching. Okay. There is not one-on-one coaching in this. It is a group program. However, you can get the help you need. So there are laser coaching sessions, which are group coaching sessions. All you have to do is raise your hand and ask your questions. There's a private Facebook group. You can put your questions there. You can tag me. You can tag anybody else who's in a similar line of business. We will come and we will answer your questions there. There are different accountability groups, right? So you have multiple touches, right? And like I said, this is perfect for the person who says, I'm owning my results. Okay, I'm going to get the help I need. So you can ask as many questions as you want to ask in the Facebook group, right? But there isn't one-on-one coaching. Does it help people in my kind of business? So we have people in private practice. We have people who are coaches. We have people who have skincare lines. We have people who have nonprofits. We have, who else do we have? We have a number of people, okay? So it is because the focus of it is to end the obscurity so that you can make your business profitable. Okay. So the bottom line is it works. All right. All right. So that's what I have for you guys. I'm going to stop the share real quick so I can answer all your questions. I'm here for all of it. Okay. I'm going to look through the comments real quick, but if you have a question, I want you can raise your hand on the Zoom thing, and then you'll unmute yourself, and then we'll take it from there. Anna says, why are they stifling us, putting us in a box? I don't know, but we're here to get out of the box. Okay. EntreMD Live last year, I actually had a box. I'm like, come out of the box. It was a pink box. I had to apologize to the guys. Michelle says, maybe I'm a bit biased, but the group is truly fabulous. So many amazing and creative people in one place. Yeah. A mastermind. So those are our accountability groups, and that's where we call ourselves out. Let me see. How much time do I work in my clinical job? Okay. So for me, I am currently doing a day a week. And that is because that is by choice. So I'll use this to explain it. My dad is 85, and my dad still reads anatomy textbooks, okay? And he sends me these text messages, like, did you know? I'm like, I don't know, okay? Leave me alone. I did my anatomy in my time, okay? Like, if he were to pass out and you said, oh, this patient, he might wake up. Like, he loves this stuff, okay? I love it too, but I have a lot of passions, right? And I was kind of like, I'm going to give this everything I've got till I'm 40. And after that, I'm going to start diversifying. So I do patients once a week, but the goal of the business school is not to get people to drop clinical. The goal of the business school is not to make everybody do one kind of business. The goal of the business school is to get you to find what your thing is and own it and be in charge so you can do it the way you want, right? So that's kind of the way that works. All right. Okay. Who has questions? I'm here to answer them. And if you have a question, you can unmute yourself and we'll take it.
May I? Hi, it's Dr. Polak.
Hi, how are you? I'm going to put you here so everybody can see you. Hello.
Hi, I'm afraid I don't even know how to raise my hand on Zoom, so embarrassed.
No, don't be. I just took care of you. You're right where you need to be.
Okay. So question is, I've been listening to your podcast and I literally followed everything you said on it already. I do my lives, I do my videos, I do my emails. I've done everything you said on the podcast. So I do have a new business idea. I'm not sure if this is the business idea. So I guess my point is, because I've done a lot of the things you've already said, I'm a little bit insecure about how much more I can get out of it.
Well, so it may not be doing new things. It may be getting a bigger bang for your buck because you can do them better. Do you see what I'm saying? Like, for instance, we have many doctors who the big thing they did was they clarified their message and their business just went boom, right? Because it's like now I'm talking to my person and my people are raising their hands and stuff like that. So just clarifying your message changes what happens with your emails, changes what happens with your Facebook lives and all of that, because you're not talking to everybody, you're talking to your people. So it may not be that you start doing different things. It may just be each time you do it, it's better. But trust me, there's so many more things though in the business
Okay.
school. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. What's your new business idea? If you don't want to talk about it here, you can PM me
No,
later.
I don't mind. I don't mind. I've always wanted to. Oh, so recently I bought a new building and I'm moving my practice to this new building. So it's going to be
Yay.
much bigger in terms of physical space. So I'm super excited. And that's why I didn't join the business school before because I was knee deep, no, neck deep in business stuff, in terms of the building. But now it's under construction and I'm hoping that it opens in the summer and I can move my practice and expand. And my new business idea is I would really like it to be more of a community center where the kids can come for more like nutrition and psych health, not just pediatrics. So that's my idea, but
You're
it's
you're
kind of a lofty
amazing.
goal.
You're amazing. I love it. It's not lofty. You should come into my mind and see what I think. You're good. I
Okay.
love it. I love it. Okay. Well, so does that answer your question though?
I think so, yes.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Yeah. I would love to see that because there's a concept I'm toying with, private practices. If we start building multiple streams out of one practice, now that would be really cool. Yeah.
Right.
We probably
That's
have to.
that's
Yeah.
what I want to do. Yep.
Yeah. We probably have to. Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. Good. Good. Thanks for coming on. All right. Who has a question? Let's see. Um,
I have a question. I was the one that left the comment about not having a hand raiser.
oh, okay.
Can you? I know
I'm,
you're looking around
I'm,
on the
I'm,
screen.
I'm looking for your video. Just give me a moment. Let me find it. Oh, there you are. Okay. Hi.
Hi. I have to say I am a big fan of your podcast,
Oh, thank
and
you.
also I am a big proponent of the power of group coaching. I first, I think, heard you during one of the coaching groups this summer that I was a participant
Ah, okay.
with. And so, yes, I do advocate that to everyone who has doubts about that because I had my doubts. But regarding my decision making with joining the EntreMD Business School, I think one of the questions that I had was more so related to timing because with the business model that I have, it actually does not um, focus on marketing. Marketing is not a part of that business piece that requires its success because it's really linked to contracts with government entities. And, I know it's being very vague, but I sort of already have a business model that I am trying to replicate, which is not dependent on marketing and a lot of the things that I know that you advocate for in order to make a business thrive. I think my the way I'm thinking about it is okay, once I get that aspect of it going, then trying to teach others how to replicate that. And so, not knowing whether or not the business school would be advantageous at this stage, as I'm trying to get that, my practice up and going, and or towards the phase later when I want to try and show others how to do it, because I don't think it's a well-known business model.
Well, so my philosophy is always, start before you're ready. And part of starting before you're ready is building your brand and talking about what you do because that sets the stage for the next thing. You start your second business while you're doing your first business, if that makes sense, right? So if somebody is working a job, for instance, and they know that they're going to start a private practice, when is really the time to start building, say it's me, start building your brand as a pediatrician? It's while you're still employed. Otherwise, you're going to have this really big, drawn out drought when you start off. Do you see what I'm saying? And for every physician in this time, anyway, I think we should all build our brands. I think we should all have our voices out there, regardless. Do you see what I mean? It doesn't matter what you're doing. And So I would say it's still something to do. And I know you don't want to get into the details of, what the setup is, but the question then becomes, if it's contracts, what makes them decide who to use?
There's just such a need, and a lot of, and I know I'm being more vague than probably
No,
necessary.
and it's fine. You don't have to. Yeah, it's fine.
Yeah, but it's really to help fulfill a need that, when it comes to, clearing people for disability, authorization and physicals and things of that nature. And so I think that there isn't necessarily a competitive nature of getting those contracts because the need is so great. Um, so that marketing piece is not there as much, but as you were saying, I am trying to work through what aspects of being part of the school would be advantageous now at this stage,
Yeah.
given that it's a very unique business model.
Yeah. So if you're going to use that to help anybody at all, then the time to start, talking story, building a brand, building a name around that would be now, not when it's time to start helping people, because then you'll need to work really hard, and then you have to give it the time. So then you create a drought for yourself.
Thank you.
Yeah. My pleasure. My
Oh,
pleasure.
other question. How big are the group sessions typically with each, live session?
They would run 30 to 50. Yeah, they would run 30 to 50. Yay. Nice meeting ya. Now I can put a name to the face to the name. All right, so I see a number of calls. Now, for this cohort, what I did, oh, I have two hands. Okay. For this cohort, what I did is I have a VIP group where the new cohort will be for the first few weeks before you join the big group, so that way you get all your onboarding, all your foundations, all of that stuff done, right? Together. And so your calls will be on Thursdays, okay, at 7 p.m. And it's just for that few weeks, okay? The dates will be in your emails and stuff like that. It will just be for Thursdays. After that, all your calls are Wednesdays, 7 p.m. Eastern. Wednesday, 7 p.m. Eastern. We try not to move it around. Okay. Um, okay. All right. Ileana, you can unmute yourself. Ileana. Yeah, I got it right.
Yeah. All right. So is this open rolling enrollment, or is there like a
Oh, that's
closed?
a great question. I should have answered that. Okay, so it closes on Sunday. Sunday's my birthday. It closes on Sunday. So it opens a number of times a year. For now, the next enrollment will be in June.
And then you said it's a monthly tuition. Is that Q 30 days or Q new month? Like
Q 30 days.
okay.
Yeah, it's automated within the system. So whenever it is Q 30 days.
Okay. And then is there a library of replays, or if you miss it, it's
Yeah, it is. Now, so again, for the first, so I don't do overwhelm. So I don't set people up for overwhelm. So you will have access to the entire library, but that happens after after you're on board and all of that stuff is done. So after we do our calls, within, I like to say within 24 hours, but typically within an hour, the replay is there. So you can just log into the portal. If you missed it, you can watch the replays there. And all the replays from the beginning of the school are available, titled, and all of that stuff, right? So that if you are like, I'm tired of Netflix binging, I want to do a useful binge,
right.
you can find it by topic. And then for the ones that are by the guests, the name of the guest is there, so it's just easy to find it. Yeah.
Okay. And then I had emailed you about like lockouts or pauses. I was just curious the thoughts behind it. Not that it actually matters.
Oh, okay. Yeah. No, but it's a good question.
Okay, well, you can just come in and out as you please, and then there's your side. It's like nope, like
yeah. So this is a thought process behind it. I am very protective of the community. Okay. So if I say you can come in anytime you want, leave anytime you want, and stuff like that, then I run the risk of attracting people who are not committed. And what makes the group so powerful is that these are doctors who've refused to quit. They're like, I'm going to get this done. So I would be, it would impact the community negatively if I did that. Yeah. So that's the reason why we have a lockout.
Okay. And then one other question is, so for like when you're organizing your Facebook exposure, whatever you want to call it, do you have like a separate private, like, this is just for me and my actual friends, and then like, this is my public persona, and this is what's linked to all my little pages and my groups and stuff like that? Like, what, what, what are your thoughts about that situation?
So you're asking what I do?
Yeah, or what thoughts behind it, like themes of, or what you do, because I just believe you. So whatever you do, basically, I'm going to do.
Well, so I don't have a separate little private group. I have my page. That is my page. I post a lot. I put a lot out there. But if I may be honest, a lot of it is the business part of me, the
Yeah.
personal development part of me. Um, I don't talk about like conversations I had with my husband on social media or any of those kind of like things I don't want the whole world to know. I just don't put them out. So I put a lot of stuff out, my thoughts as far as, life and stuff like that. So I put a lot of stuff out, but I'm still a private person, if
Yeah,
that makes
you're
sense.
super. I
Yeah.
was taking
So
that into consideration. Yeah,
yeah.
I'm more like, don't care who knows.
What, but then again,
Curious
this
if I need to like kind of censor a little, like I am whoever I've been for until now that I'm a more business person. So I'm just curious if I'm trying to wrap my mind around, like, do I make like another Facebook and that's like everything stems from that one and that's all like super business focused. And
Well,
then
I mean, some people do that where they have a personal page that's completely private and it's just their friends and stuff. I mean, many people do that. There's nothing wrong with it. There are many ways to skin a cat.
yeah, I like to keep things simple, and of course it'd be easy if they were both just connected, but I think maybe it would probably be best for me to keep my own little private, not, it's not even private, I have like 25,000 friends, but that, and then build my empire.
Yeah, you can do that.
Okay,
You
thank
can do
you.
that. Yeah, my pleasure. Okay, I have. Okay, so what? All right, let me look at the calendar. Give me 1 second, and I'll tell you. So Dr. Alabisi is asking, how long will the sessions be on Thursdays? So that would be on the 4th, the 11th, and the 18th. And then on the 23rd, you get in the main group. And then 24th is the session with Becky and how to build those teams with little or no money down. So those are the dates.
I have another
Okay.
question, Una. Dr. Una, I'm sorry.
Yes.
How long has the school been around, and how big is the backlog library?
So this particular school has been since June 27th of 2020. You don't have to. So this is not a catch up. There's no catch up. You're gonna do this at your pace and all that stuff. You'll need the stuff you need. You'll have the stuff you need going forward. Yeah. If you don't have a business idea, it is perfect because the first thing is finding your profitable business idea. There are a number of doctors who came in with no business idea, and we'll pull it out. We'll pull it out. Okay. All right. Dr. Toomer, I see your hand up. Hi. All right. Dr. Toomer is in the business school. She is a powerhouse. You should follow her on social media. You should read her story. She's she's a health, wellness, and weight loss doc. And she lost 60 pounds 2 decades ago and has kept it off. Has a phenomenal story. Phenomenal. Yeah. Okay. I'm done oohing and eyeing. You know I love your stuff.
I'm not going to ask a really boring question. No. Actually, two things. One, I just wanted to mention to Yana, I do have 2 pages. And one of them is personal. And one of them is business. And one of the advice that actually Dr. Una gave me was that when you comment around Facebook on your field of genius, then people will click on your name. And when they click on your name, what pops up should reinforce what you do in your for your business. And so that's why I keep them separate, so that one reinforces my marketing, sort of, I guess I can call it that, but it reinforces my message. Um, and the other was that the biggest issue I had was that I'm not a salesperson. And so when it came to business, I was very worried about how I was going to sell. And the best advice she gave me was, you're not selling, you're offering a service. And so that just completely turned my life around, because I'm actually 100% entrepreneurial. I don't have a clinic, I don't practice. I, I, I use my degree, but I'm not practicing, I guess is the best thing.
Super
And the
helpful.
other was, and the other was that I was really concerned about not having enough time, and not having enough time to devote to anything. And what this did really was, one, um, show me where my blind spots were, but also it freed up my time, because I was wasting a lot of time doing stuff that were just not helping me move forward. And so once I eliminated those things and started doing other things and learning how to delegate, that's actually probably one of the best things I learned. That was hard for me. But
It was. I
and
won't say anything about how
yeah.
hard it was.
And the other was learning how to step out of my comfort zone. Um, there were things that I didn't think I would ever do, that I now actually enjoy doing. Before I was terrified of doing, but but I joined the business school, even though I've worked with Dr. Una in the past. I've actually joined the business school because I know there's more, and I know that the group is going to help. I so I'm just really looking forward to. So I really didn't have a question. I just had a comment because I just wanted to add, because I'm excited, and I just,
I'm
didn't want to get
excited.
left out.
Already working.
I'm excited. Thank you for bringing all those perspectives and stuff like that. All right, Michelle. So look, Dr. Tuma is coming with us. Isn't that going to be so cool? Yeah. And she's a run coach, so both of you can do all this collaborations and stuff together. Yeah. I love it. Um, Dr. Dr. Oridu, did you still want to come on? I thought I saw your hand earlier. I thought so, but I see your question. Okay. How does one get ready financially to own a business? Work more? Um, Now, so for that question, let me see. For that question, right? So it depends. There's some businesses that may not require a lot of physical cash in the beginning, especially if you have like a service and stuff. They may require more sweat equity, right? Like if you're willing to do the work, you can do the work and produce the cash. And as you produce the cash, you have it to invest in your business, right? That could work. Um, if you're starting off a business and this is maybe your first time as an entrepreneur, some people are like, kick the man to the curb and go build your own thing. And I'm like, no, use the man's money to fund the business. Like don't kick the man to the curb. So I don't recommend that people just quit their job cold like, especially if you don't have the skills, you haven't done this before, right? There's some people like my brother is a serial entrepreneur. We've actually had him as a guest in the business school. Genius entrepreneur. And he can get up and say, I quit, I have no money. And in 2 months, he could be raking. So when that kind of person quits, it's like good for him, right? But if you don't have the experience and stuff, don't do that. Our our earning power, even if we work, we work in places that we're like, we don't like how we're being treated and stuff like that. I'm not saying endure abuse or anything like that, but we also need to look at it as it's a gift, right? Because you can use this to generate capital for your business. When I started my practice, again, this is an example. I'm not saying do this. When I started my practice, I took up an urgent care position in Emory, right, in children's, and then I used that to tide those months because I was like, I don't want to have this big loan and all this kind of stuff. So I worked the hours, I put in the time. And then as the practice got busier, I worked less and it got busier. I worked less and eventually I was able to get rid of it altogether. So you can use a job to fund your business, and, and that's kind of the way that goes. So I hope that answers. If it's not fully clear, then let me know. Some businesses you will have to take a loan, but my thing with loans is loan money is a lot easier to spend because you didn't work for it. Doesn't hurt as much. And so if you're starting a business and you have some experience and you have advisors and you've played out the model and this would work, go for it, right? What is dangerous sometimes I see is that people are, in the beginning of a business, you're very optimistic. Like all these things will work out exactly this way. And you take a huge loan and you don't have any experience. And then, that just makes it a problem. So I know I said a lot of things, but, that's kind of that. Okay. Someone's asking how many months is a program. So it is month to month. Our recommendation is a year. Okay. Our recommendation is you plan to stay a year. And Michelle is in there. You're not going to want to leave after the year. I'm just telling you now. I told them yesterday, I was like, we have 5 weeks in March. So why don't we do a spring break? And they're like, no, we like the accountability. We want to keep going. I'm like, okay, here I am feeling nice. Like you guys are tired of me in your face. And they said no. So yeah. Okay. All right. So I want to make sure that I got to everybody. Any questions that I haven't answered? Okay. So entremd.com/business. We would love to have you.
I have one more question.
Yes.
Do you have like a guide to start the startup?
Tell me what you mean.
Like I know that you're going to tell me to just have one idea, build my brand. So let's just say I do that. And so like I was talking to some people just because I don't have the experience to know. And like I trust you. So whatever you say, basically I'm going to do. It's like being in training, your attending says this, you're going to do it because look, it worked for them. But it's like, well, I know nothing about business lawyers or like which bank to open a business account in and like .com, .org, L Corps, like LLCs. Like, it's just like, whoa to me right now. So, so I'm curious. I know that I'm sure that these things are like scattered in there.
Oh, so do you mean like the guidance for those things?
Yeah.
We have a training that we did. It's in the portal, like, getting it registered, website, all of those kind of things. And what you'll find though is that when you get in momentum, those are actually simpler than you think.
Oh, they're
Like,
easy.
like these are just decision, boom, 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 boom,
Yeah.
done. But yes, we do have a startup kit, a startup toolkit
Okay.
is what we called
Great.
it. Yeah, we have that. Okay. Yay. Okay. All right, people. So I think I got everybody's questions. If you have questions that you're like, I don't ask them here, you can shoot me an email, Dr. Una, DRUNA @entremd.com. I would rather you ask your questions and got the help you needed and you're sure this is for you or not for you, than you stayed in indecision, okay? The Facebook group for the new cohort is open. So if you signed up today, you will be added to that group and we're going to hit the ground running, okay? Because we have stuff to do, all right? So thank you guys so much for coming out. And
Dr. when did it open? When did your school doors open?
hang on, let me find you. Oops. Oh, Ileana, is that you?
Yes.
I was like, I can't find you. Okay, so the Facebook group opened up today, actually.
Okay.
Yeah, it opened up today, and then we'll have our first class, and there's a first set of things that need to be done. So yeah,
Perfect.
ready to go. All right, people. So I'm going to let you guys be. If you need, you still have questions, just DM me or you can send me an email. I would love to see you in the business school because we're doctors. It's our time. We're not staying in the box. We're, taking charge of all of this. Okay. All righty. So it was nice seeing you guys. Bye.